The following is a presentation of the Championship Racing Network.
Crossed Flags, a racing podcast. It's your midweek fix for racing news and information. Brought to you by the Championship Racing Network. Now let's head trackside to join your hosts, Steve West and Matt Nicholson.
Welcome into the latest edition of Crossed Flags. I am Steve West, and yeah, I'm sitting here all by myself right now, but you know what? Let me show you this guy right over here. Welcome back, one Matt Nicholson, to the Crossed Flags podcast here. We were talking about him last week. If you caught the show last week, if you didn't, shame on you. Go back and check it out. But we were talking about your health situation last week a little bit.
Yep.
Letting everybody know that he was getting ready to be radiated and start doing his best imitation of Chernobyl. Kids, look it up.
That's an understatement.
Yeah. I'll let him fill in the rest.
Yeah, I had to deal with the rounds of radiation treatment last weekend for this cancer bout that I've had, and was doing preparation work Monday and Tuesday for said treatments that was starting on Wednesday, And it was not a very good week last week at all. Very draining, very exhausting, and very frustrating. Let's say that. But as of right now, we will see tomorrow where things stand. I have to go back here to a local hospital in Birmingham to have PET scans done. And that will tell the tale if we either get to ring the bell or if we've got to play Chernobyl again. That's going to tell the tale.
So there's the update as we record this on the Tuesday of this week. And hopefully everything will be going well. Keep him in your thoughts and prayers for Wednesday of this week. There's some things that we could talk about this week. We could talk about the Denny Hamlin, Ross Chastain thing, which I think personally is being blown out of proportion. I think mainly everybody's sitting on pins and needles because of what happened last year with everybody worried about manipulating the end of the race and everything. I personally, I think the whole thing's overblown, so we're not even really going to mess with it, truth be told. What we are going to mess with is the latest, and I've got a whole bunch of quotes on this, from the NASCAR versus 2311 and Front Row Motorsports lawsuit. I can't wait for this thing to be over, just to be real honest with you. We were talking about it on the big show not that long ago. Might have been Saturday. In fact,
it was, yeah.
That we just want this thing to be done. Get it done with. These are two kids fighting over a ball on the playground is what this is. And what we need is the adults to stand up and go, work this out.
Yep. It's exactly what it is.
You never know. Maybe somebody might have seen the light in this. I'm hoping, because there was a motion filed yesterday. And again, we're doing this on a Tuesday of this week. So yesterday, as we record this, NASCAR filed a motion that said, hey, we've gone through mediation based upon what you said before. We went through a guy who used to work for the National Basketball Association. Now he's a professional intermediary for these sort of things. And that's great and all, but he's not really seeming to do anything. So they petitioned the judge in this case in Western North Carolina court to actually put a judge over a mediation. Here's the quote. Filing reads in part, quote, accordingly, NASCAR believes that the parties would benefit from a facilitated settlement discussion with a distinguished member of the bench who could provide unique insight into a jury trial in a complex matter such as this one in front of a jury in this district. Recognizing the value of a judicial settlement conference, this court has previously indicated a willingness to offer a judicial settlement conference at a similar stage in the proceedings after efforts with a private mediator and following the close of discovery and filing of summary judgment motions. Now, there's a lot of legalese in there, but they're basically conceding we think that there is a whole lot of benefit to actually settling this thing out of court. So why don't we try and figure out a way to do it? Which, by God, please, let's figure out a way to do it. Here's the sad part about it. Jeffrey Kessler, he's the attorney for 2311 and Front Row Motorsports. This is a guy who is a well-known antitrust lawyer in the sports world. He has won big cases against some pretty big leagues like Major League Baseball. He said that he feels like going from one mediator to another, be it a judge or whoever it might be, makes things, quote, less likely, not more likely to lead to a resolution. So now all of a sudden we've got the teams basically going out there and stating, yeah, we want our day in court.
It sounds like to me, well, first off, through this entire process, this is the first I've heard of them wanting to settle. This is the first I've heard of that.
NASCAR, yeah.
NASCAR, yeah. They've been aimed at absolutely just breaking every brick of the wall down with the teams coming at them, if that's a fair way to put it. But now you hear the word, we think a settlement would work. This is the legitimate question that could be raised and could be had. What does the teams and Jeffrey Kessler have that they are about to throw to the public knowledge that NASCAR is like, whoa, 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 whoa. Mm-hmm. You know, you think of that. You think you see that little the GIF on social media, especially on X and Twitter, where you have Andre the Giant going, hey, 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 like that.
Right.
That's what I'm envisioning them going like, hey, wait a minute here. So what all of a sudden spurned this up? Was it because of you basically had people like Joe Gibbs saying, y'all need to settle it because I don't want to be any part of it because he has a tie to the Toyota branch of it. I don't want to be a part of anything. Leave me out of it. But I said this Saturday on the Big Show, by all of these declarations that you've seen come out from a majority of these car owners and team owners, to where they all sounded, in a way, verbiage different, but sounded all scripted. Read them and you'll see what I'm talking about. They're like, everybody's basically saying the same thing. So it's a legitimate question. Now that settlement's being put out there, we could benefit from a settlement. It may benefit everything. It makes me wonder, which card are they about to throw on the table that could possibly go, I'm pushing every one of my chips all in.
Yeah, what's the trump card in this particular situation that the teams have? And the funny thing is that Michael Jordan, that Michael Jordan, in case you haven't really been following racing, it's that Michael Jordan, primary owner of 2311. Denny Hamlin has a stake in it, but from everything that we can read, the majority stakeholder is Michael Jordan.
Yep.
Michael Jordan recently said this, quote, "We've always been open to a settlement, always have been. We've never taken that off the table." Smokescreen? Because that's kind of what it seems like when you stop and think about what their lawyer just said, that effectively we don't see what this motion is going to do to benefit moving this case forward. In fact, it makes it somewhat less likely that we might actually come to terms before we got to trial, which, by the way, is supposed to start again in a little over a month and a half. December 1st is the date that the court trial is supposed to start.
I personally think Denny Hamlin wants it to go there, to where every single thing that they have, whatever it may be, can get put on the table and exposed. Because I don't think you go hire someone the likes of Jeffrey Kessler, that, like Izzy said earlier, is very, very high profile in these style of cases. I don't think you go hire him to handle your side of it unless you don't think that you have something that is of legitimate nature to show what you're trying to prove here. So, what is it?
Yeah. It's going to be real interesting to finally get to the conclusion of this. And ultimately, that's what we're really hoping for. That's what we want to see. I know that the vast majority of the fans of NASCAR want to see it. We just want to see this thing come to a conclusion, however it may be. Personally, I think Denny Hamlin's good for the sport. You need a guy with the black hat who's very willing to wear that black hat, willing to take on the bad guy role, if you will. And Denny Hamlin seems to have fully embraced that, having taken it away from Kyle Busch. Michael Jordan certainly is no shrinking violet. He's not going to shy away from any of this stuff. The funny thing is Bob Jenkins does kind of seem to be the odd man out because he's never been that kind of guy who seems to want to stir the pot that much. So his role as the owner of Front Row Motorsports is a little curious to me. But no, this seems very much in line with what Michael Jordan and Denny Hamlin are really kind of into. And if they don't like what's in a contract, let's face it, Michael Jordan has a lot of pull. He's done a lot of contracts. He knows about that sort of stuff. If there's something in there he doesn't like, he's not going to sign it, and he's going to make a whole lot of noise about it. I am curious, though, in the end, who was it that looked at that deal, that charter pact, and said, nope, not going to do it, and convinced the other? Because I find it hard to believe that both Michael Jordan and Denny Hamlin read that and together looked at each other and went, nope, we're not going to sign it. One had to say no and convince the other to do it.
Personally, I think it was more probably Curtis Polk, Jordan's right-hand businessman, that probably saw that, pointed it out to Denny and Michael, whatever he pointed out that he didn't like. I don't know that. I'm not inside Curtis Polk's mind, and I'm not there with Curtis Polk to know what it was. And then it was probably brought to the attention of some of the teams, and then Bob Jenkins went, I agree with that. I don't like that either. But then you got your Hendricks, Gibbs, Penske, Childress, etc. They're like, we need to sign and get it over with to where we can keep on doing business. But to the keyboard warriors, let's call them that, it's benefited the teams. It's benefited this and this and that and so forth, whatever it may be. I can tell you one thing that hasn't benefited. Oh, we're able to have smaller staffs because we have outsourced parts of the cars. But when the outsourced parts of the cars and the cars are 3 times higher than what they used to be, you're either coming out in the wash or you're still losing money. Because the golden phrase Jeff Gordon always said, if you want to be a millionaire in racing, start as a billionaire.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
There is no, I'm sorry, I don't care if you're at F1 all the way down to a local short track. There is no such thing as making a profit in motorsports, period.
Yeah.
I've been there.
It's unfortunate, but it's true. The Jeff Gordon quote is just kind of a basic riff off of one of the other old sayings that if you want to make a small fortune in racing, you start off with a big fortune. Same thing. There's no such, there's nothing stock about a stock car. You've heard that. Well, they're trying to make it that way, but I think they're trying to do it in the wrong way, in the fact that they're mandating these single source parts. Well, if you're the only one making it, you have the market all to yourself.
When you have a car that has what's called a stock clip, front clip, or stock parts on the car, then you can call it a stock car.
Yeah.
There is not one single stock manufactured part on that car outside of a component within the engines. That's it.
But to continue on, if you're the only one making that part, effectively you can charge as much as you want for it. Because NASCAR can't tell me, in other words, if I'm NASCAR and I go to Matt and I say, hey, Matt, I need you to make this part for me. And then I tell him, oh, by the way, you're the only one making part B, whatever that B is. He now can tell me exactly what it is that he's going to charge me for that part, which means that's what the teams have to pay. There's no competition in there, which means that I can't put producer Molly up against him. So he's got part B. She's got part B as well. Now I've got them fighting against each other for who can make it for less.
But if you've only got, let's use, I'm trying to think of something that could be a good comparison. Okay. Let's go with the transaxle unit. Gentrack is the only provider of it. You have to run one style of that the transaxle unit. rear end gear, transmission, everything all together. Okay. If they're the only one that does it, guess what? If they want to charge $30,000 for a rear end housing or a transactional unit, they can charge $30,000. When back probably 10, 12 years ago, maybe, you could build a chassis that is frame rails, floor pan, all the way up to the cockpit halo. From the front chrome, from the front nose horn of the front clip, all the way back to the back bumper brace for $30,000.
Nothing's cheap about racing. Of that, there's no doubt. And we haven't seen the charter agreement. We haven't read the charter agreement, much less seen it.
Personally, I don't care to read it.
No. There's probably a whole bunch of legal gobbledygook in there, which prompted them, all those teams that he was talking about, other than 2311 and Front Row, to look at it and go, you know what? They've given us a deadline. Let's just sign it and be done with it. And except for those two teams, 2311 and Front Row, they just all decided to wash their hands of it and let's just go back to racing and pray everything's going to be okay. Well, 2311 and Front Row were, be it for good or for bad, they were the ones that decided to stir this pot. Now we have to figure out whether or not we can get this pot to settle back down and we can get it to boil. And what I mean by that is to stop getting all of this negative publicity related to this lawsuit situation. And we can get back to the business of racing and have everybody, NASCAR, all of the teams, I don't care whether you're an open team or a chartered team, start to figure out what it is that has everybody so upset about the situation that I was here talking about last week, that we have mentioned, in the fact that, yes, NASCAR is still the third most popular sport in the United States based upon television ratings. It's still doing quite well when it comes to people in attendance at the tracks, but we're not seeing those sellouts that we used to see. We're not seeing those numbers that used to be well far and above what Major League Baseball, the NBA, the NHL, and all those other sports were. They're beating them, but they're not beating them by as much as they used to. And again, go back till Sunday afternoon, evening at the Roval and look, because you got plenty of cars that can show you the pictures of the grandstand. They were what, 75% full? Ish.
I was thinking more along 65 to 70. It was bare. Very bare.
That's not good. This is a playoff race in NASCAR country. That's NASCAR's backyard. All the teams are there in and around the Charlotte, North Carolina area. They're all within a 50 to 100 mile radius, give or take.
50, yeah. Yep.
That's NASCAR's backyard. That's home. That's the place that NASCAR is considered the mecca of, Charlotte, North Carolina. And in Charlotte, North Carolina, 60 to 75% full. That's not good. Now they go out to Vegas. Vegas is a fun spot to go to. You'll probably get a pretty good turnout. Here's going to be the trick. It's not this coming weekend in Vegas. It's the week after that at Talladega.
Bingo.
If Talladega looks like the Roval, now you know you got problems. Because 60 to 75% at Talladega means you got a big problem, NASCAR. So watch it.
And touching on that very thing right there is one of the exact things that I will do. And we will look at it and we will determine and take a good look at it right here. I will have a clear 4K image of the stands from a very good point, and we'll see for ourselves how it looked.
We're going to find out real quick about the health of NASCAR come Talladega weekend. Both of us. So be prepared. We'll have pictures too. We'll show them right here. Producer Molly will put them up here on the board. So we'll show them to you when they come. So be ready for that. That's coming up in a week and a half. Obviously, Matt and I are going to be out there. Producer Molly says she might be out there too. We can actually kind of give her, the baptism by fire, so to speak. Because the truth of, and the reason we're holding Talladega is the bellwether. If you've never been to Talladega and spent the weekend there, Okay. I'm going to put it that way. From Friday night with the big one on the boulevard to all the activity on the track on Saturday, and then the Saturday night concert, and then all of the pre-race activities that goes on Sunday morning through the race, which is generally very exciting because we're expecting to see three wide in a heartbeat. And over the last 2 races that I can remember specifically, we had long stretches of multiple laps where we saw 4 wide.
Yep.
You don't get a whole lot better than that. That's real close, tight quarters, very, very edge of your seat kind of racing. That's what Talladega brings. That's why the crowds come from all 50 states and from as many as 25 to 30 other countries. Because we talked to track president Brian Crichton about that almost every race weekend leading up to it. And he knows better than we do about the sales and where they're coming from. Talladega is a destination spot. People come there because they've been coming there for years. It is a place where they hold reunions for friends that they've not seen since the last race or since a year ago.
Mm-hmm.
People love coming there because it's not just the race. This is Grant Lynch, the late, great Grant Lynch's statement. This is more than a race. This is Talladega. It's a destination spot. But if those grandstands are like they were at the Roval, now we know NASCAR's got a problem. And they need to fix it. And this lawsuit ain't helping. It's not helping.
So she gets her grand tour of Talladega. You think of fair trade to Lincoln, Nebraska to Memorial's a fair trade?
I like your thinking.
That work.
Molly, you're up. All right. We got the big show coming up on Saturday. Make sure you join us. Going to be a little earlier this weekend because our flagship station that we're on out there in Anniston is an Alabama affiliate, and they've got an early kick.
Thanks, Alabama.
Yeah. So it's going to be a shortened version of the big show starting at 8 a.m. Eastern, 7 a.m. Central Time. Join us then, please, won't you, on our CRN Live on YouTube page. And we'll talk to you on Saturday morning, and we'll be back next week with another edition of Crossed Flags, and we hope that he's going to be here for that as well. Y'all take care, and we'll talk to you on Saturday.
You've been listening to Crossed Flags, a racing podcast. For more content like this, subscribe to CRN Live on YouTube, and you'll be set to catch the 2-hour live show every Saturday morning at 9 Eastern, 8 Central.
This has been a presentation of the Championship Racing Network.